Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Good Bad Score. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Colin.
And today we are going to be talking about the newest Hulu streaming movie, Palm Springs, starring Andy Samberg and Cristin Milioti. So in this movie, it takes place at a wedding. We meet Andy Samberg's character who plays Niles, and he is like the most different one in the wedding that you see right from the beginning. He's wearing a Hawaiian shirt, he's wearing sunglasses, holding a beer in his hand. He does not give a hoot about this wedding, and you just kind of get the impression that he knows what's going to happen this wedding, how it's all going to go down, who's going to say what. You just kind of get this weird impression from him. So he's about to have this fling with Cristin Milioti's character, who plays the maid of honor at the wedding, and all of a sudden this whole chaos explodes, and they wake up the next day, and it's the wedding all over again. So we find out that Andy Samberg's character, Niles, has been in this time loop before, and unfortunately now Cristin Milioti's character has now been trapped in this time loop with him now. So they have to kind of figure out how to get out of this time loop, but then they just accept that this is their new way of life. So then they just start having fun, they start prank at the wedding, they just start doing crazy, stupid things together, and they begin to build this strong romantic relationship with each other. So Colin, what did you love about Palm Springs?
Well, Andrew, the biggest thing that I loved about Palm Springs is the two romantic leads. Andy Samberg and Cristin Milioti are fantastic in this movie. They have amazing chemistry, they are unbelievably funny, and they have some really dramatic moments that these actors really delivered well. What I also liked about it is that as much as it follows the beats of a typical romantic comedy, this is a very accessible movie for both men, women, young and old. As this is, while it gets raunchy, it has plenty of heart and has a couple twists and turns along the way to keep you invested for this hour-and-a-half runtime. This is a brilliantly paced movie where I really was enjoying every second of it, and I think it even is a great movie to rewatch and pick up some things you didn't get the first time. And then finally, I just liked how simple it was, where literally you have a couple characters on one side doing the more comedic fantasy stuff, while the other one are the people that repeat the same day. Everyone does a great job. It's very easy to follow everyone's motivations, and I think this is a very well-directed, well-written, and definitely well-acted movie. So Andrew, what did you love about Palm Springs?
Well, here's what I really liked about Palm Springs. First of all, I was concerned about Andy Samberg. I'm not a huge fan of Andy Samberg. I never thought he was funny. He always strikes me, his humor is just weird to me. I just never got it, and I wasn't a fan of him in SNL. So I was kind of concerned about him in this movie. I wasn't sure I was able to take him seriously. In the beginning of this movie, I was a little bit concerned where this whole movie was gonna go, but I gotta say, the kid did good. Andy Samberg does a great job in this movie. He carries this movie from start to finish. Cristin Milioti is fantastic. I personally liked her the best in this movie. The two have a great chemistry together, but I really enjoyed her character the most in this movie, and I can't wait to see more what she does in the future. She was just absolutely terrific. It's like a dark comedy version of Groundhog Day, and I kind of like how it's a little bit darker. It's more for like adults, this one. This movie is beautifully shot. The writing, the directing is spot on perfect. I really just appreciate that this movie's only an hour and 30 minutes. I've said this many times, not every movie has to be over 2 hours or more. Particular movies like a romantic comedy is only has to be an hour and 30 minutes. And I thought that was perfect. And the movie has heart, it has a lot of meaning to it, it's touching at certain moments, and it was entertaining to watch. All right, Colin, let's get into the bad about this movie. So Colin, what are your negatives about Palm Springs?
Well, surprisingly about Palm Springs, I have very minor negatives with this movie. I would say the climax of the movie feels a little anticlimactic. I do disagree with you on one thing, Andrew. I think this movie could have benefited from an extra 10 minutes. I kind of wanted to see more of an epilogue after the movie, and I also, the first time watching it, there was one big plot element I did not see the first time because it's a mid-credit scene, so make sure to stick around a little bit for the credits to have the complete story.
Oh, you stink!
You didn't see that? Wait. You didn't see the mid-credit scene?
No, I didn't. I'll have to go back to look at that now.
Let's see the mid-credit scene. There's one big question that I had about one character, and I was like, I was doing so much research, and like, oh, there's a mid-credit scene. Watched it, like, oh, that's a beautiful explanation. But Andrew, how have you not seen? You got to go see the mid-credit scene.
Oh man,
so I'll keep that in mind for your negatives. But
Yeah.
I felt the climax of the movie could have been, I would say more that I wanted more of an epilogue from the movie. I think I wanted to kind of see what happens next with these characters. And then also I feel in the middle, as most romantic comedies, as it follows the beats of a typical romantic comedy, the middle where there's a divide between the two of them, I found that I needed something extra to kind of keep my attention. The middle is where I started to kind of not lose interest, but like, okay, what's really going on, and kind of wanted to just kind of pick things up. But just one maybe extra plot point, or maybe a joke or something, and that middle section I would have not had a problem with. But other than my basic how I could improve this movie, I think I have very minimal complaints about the movie. But Andrew, what did you think about the negatives of Palm Springs?
I think I have two really big negatives about this movie. First of all, I love J.K. Simmons. I think he's a great actor, and I was so glad to see him in this movie. But it bugged me that his character in this movie was useless. He's only in the beginning of this movie, and then he doesn't show up in the middle, and he only comes back for like a little bit, this one nice scene with him and Andy Samberg's character. But I didn't understand the point of his character in this movie. I think they could have added more to that character that J.K. Simmons was playing. He could have maybe played a bigger role in Palm Springs, I felt. I also, this is a real nitpick. Now a lot of people can get annoyed because this movie feels like a cop out of Groundhog Day, which that's also my negative about this movie. I really enjoy this movie, but it bugs me that we've seen these type of stories before, where it's the story of a character who wakes up the same day and then and of course eventually starts doing crazy, stupid things. I mean, we just have to kind of get past that and start making original content, start making original stories, new stories. I mean, yes, they turn the table around, the furniture in this movie, but I can't wrap my head around like this is exactly like Groundhog Day. It's like Edge of Tomorrow. You know, we've seen these type of stories before. So that's really my one big problem with this movie. And then, like I said, and again, some people will be okay about it, some people may not. For me, I'm mixed about that. I want to see something more different in the future going further in terms of any genre.
Well, Andrew, I gotta give a couple of good notes on your negatives. One is you did address something that the mid-credit scene addresses. And then the other thing I found is that as much as it's with the original content, while I feel like it's kind of unfair to call this, oh, it's just another Groundhog Day. It's really not. It just has this repeating day premise that literally, if any movie does that, it's going to be connected to Groundhog Day. Honestly, I think this was a fairly original movie in my regards. While it has the basic romantic comedy structure and all that, honestly, I think this is one of the best romantic comedies I've ever seen. But then the other thing, Andrew, with J.K. Simmons, I'll just put a little mental note for that for you audiences. Make sure to stick around for the mid-credit scene. It does have one big element of the story that I honestly thought should have been included a little sooner. Actually, that actually brings me to a point where I think this movie should have been in theaters, which obviously with coronavirus, but I think it's structured as if you were meant to see in a theater, because from the time the movie ends to that mid-credit scene, there's like a couple credits that's meant to kind of catch you before you're on your way out to the door. But with streaming, once the credits hit, you could stop it, and you miss, like Andrew, you completely miss the mid-credit scene. So that's just something to keep in mind.
I had a feeling there probably was a mid-credit scene. I just sort of I'll check that out.
No, yeah, I didn't realize it until I had to do some research.
Yeah.
But yeah, just make sure you stick around for the mid-credit scene for Palm Spring.
Alrighty then, that related to the score of our review. So Colin, I'm gonna guess your score. You seem to really like this movie a lot. I think you loved this movie. You had very little negatives to say about it, and I think you obviously wanted more out of it, which means in a lot of ways when people want more, they really enjoy the movie. So I think you're gonna give this a 9 out of 10.
You have nailed it on the head, Andrew. I'm gonna give Palm Springs a 9 out of 10. I love this movie. I think it's such a great, fun movie to watch. I recommend everyone to go out and see it. It's rated R. The little kiddies probably wait until after they go to bed. But it is so, I think it's so charming. It's very rewatchable. This is not that big of a compliment. This is one of my favorite movies of the year. There hasn't been many movies, but still, this has been one of my favorite movies of the year. I think this is such a fun movie, a great summer movie, and especially how we're in quarantine and we feel like we're living the same day over and over again. It's a fun movie to watch and kind of reflect on. I think it's a blast. Now, Andrew, I know you didn't like it as much as I did, so I'm going to say you're going to give this an 8.5 out of 10.
For the record, I really did enjoy this movie. I really did. Like I said, I enjoyed the chemistry with these two characters, and I was invested in the whole story. I definitely want to watch it again. I got to watch the mid-credit scene. But Colin, you are right. I am going to give this an 8.5 out of 10. I do agree with you, Con. I definitely believe this is one of the best movies of the year. It's, it really is, because there has just not been any other good movies I've seen on streaming service. But I would probably say Hamilton and Palm Springs is probably one of my favorite movies I've seen this year. Thank you guys for watching this episode of The Good Bad Score. Please comment on the video. Did you like the movie? Did you not like it? And be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you name it. And for Christ's sakes, subscribe to the channel. And as always, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Colin.
And have a great one, folks.